The views and opinions expressed on Unlock Your Wealth Radio are those of the host, guests, and callers only and are not necessarily the views of Unlock Your Wealth Radio, Heather Wagenhals, or Success Publishing International.
More willpower than a barefoot woman at a shoe sale. Able to stretch a single paycheck for an entire month. Makes money concepts easier than third grade math. Introducing your purveyor of prosperity, Heather Wagenhals.
Work all day, stress all night. Take your mind off your money and focus on your life. Money don't matter or the stuff it bought. It's the way you think, not what you've got, yeah.
Unlock Your Wealth Radio starts now. Get your money mind right.
Yes, get your money mind right here. Heather Wagenhals in the house. I am flanked by the maestro of Moolah, Michael Terry.
Hello, folks.
And we are going to bring you a fabulous show today on Unlock Your Wealth Radio. But first, are you a reader? Have you ever read with your ears?
I have, a little bit.
A little bit. Well,
Yeah.
I would like to give you a free book, if I could. May I give you a free book?
I'm down, baby.
All right, outstanding. Well, you too can have a free audiobook. Just check out my sponsor, audible.com. Get a free audiobook download from audibletrial.com/unlock your wealth and click on the link to choose from over 150,000 titles for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player. So if you're a reader, you can learn to read with your ears. I really enjoy ear reading, and that's how I'm able to get so many more books done in a week. How many books do you read a week?
Me? Oh, not good. But I'm taking you up on your 5 minutes a day thing.
Oh, are you? Oh, from the 13th key,
Yeah.
Become a voracious reader. It's amazing. I mean, in just 5 minutes a day, think about the power of 5, right? So if you read 5 minutes a day in a year,
That's a lot of time.
that's a lot of time. Think
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah.
5 minutes times 365. So that's like 15, 60, 1,700 minutes.
Yeah.
It's a good amount of time.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Quite a few hours, I would say.
Well, yeah. So, I mean, and just think of the value. I mean, again, this isn't the 13th key, but, just think about the power of what reading does to the brain, because this is a biology-based money management show. I mean, it's just amazing.
And you learn a good habit. You just learn a good habit.
Well, yeah, it creates, and it's a small habit. And all of our big habits arise from our consistent small habits.
Right.
So just imagine where that's going to take you in a year.
Yeah, totally.
All right, we have an amazing show for you. If you are a real estate aficionado like myself, then you will enjoy today's guest, Kashif Zuberi, or Cash for short. He is joining us. He is an international man of mystery, but we're going to demystify him and real estate investing worldwide on today's show. We also have a great real estate related moolah word of the day, but that's not this week's key, is it?
No. This week's key is number 5. Take emotion out of the picture.
Ding, 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 ding. We have a winner. Yes, we are in our 5th key in our Keys to Riches financial philosophy, and that is take emotion out of the picture. So if you want to learn about this week's key, you have to join me on our Facebook Live. And I do have a page that you can visit on the website, unlockyourwealthradio.com/live, and you can tune in to see our shows. If you are not currently paying attention to what we post on Facebook, then you need to visit our website at facebook.com/unlockyourwealthradio. That's our show page. All of the latest and greatest information on the keys to riches, money, credit, and you, as well as all of the financial techniques and the guests and our show is on that page. So if you are a Facebook aficionado, so today is aficionado day here
word.
at Unlock Your Wealth Radio. Yes. So moving right along, shall we? Moolah, word of the day.
What do we got?
We have title insurance. This is a critical piece when it comes to real estate. Title insurance is our moolah word of the day, and it is insurance to protect a lender or owner against loss in the event of a property ownership dispute. Title insurance is most frequently used for mortgages and is required by a large number of lenders. Title insurance has become necessary in the United States because, unlike many other countries, the United States, with the exception of a few areas, does not use a land registration system which could determine the validity of a claimed ownership of property. So let me give you an example. All right, so I used to teach this when I used to teach my real estate class, this example. So imagine, if you will, 100 years ago, all right? And you're in the Wild West. And so, so you had property claims, and it was kind of a little bit of a different system. And I speak in those terms because Arizona is a deed of trust state, and that's where I used to teach my real estate classes for pre-licensees and broker training too. And so imagine that your great-grandfather, he was a gunslinger, and he was a hustler, and he had a bunch of land, and he lost it in a card game.
Okay.
Okay. But it turns out that the guy that won it cheated.
Oh.
So great grandpa really didn't lose. So technically there's like a claim on the property, right? So all of a sudden here you are 100 years later, and you're just, Joe Schmo buying the property.
Yeah.
And you start this title search, right? And it appears clean because it only goes back maybe 100 years, depending on the property, when it was subdivided, all of that stuff.
Right.
So you buy the house, right? Everything looks good. And you buy title insurance. And all of a sudden you get a knock on the door saying, yeah, this was my great-grandfather's property and you need to go now. And you're like, what? But they actually can prove with whatever documents that they have that they actually do own that property. So the title insurance will do one of a few things. It will pay them to go away. It will pay off your lender, or if you own the property fully free and clear, and you don't owe anybody on it, it will pay you to go away. So if you didn't like the house, you could be like, all right, and then the title insurance will settle it.
And what percentage of the full price would the title insurance pay?
That's a great question, and I don't know because I haven't had an issue yet. So
it's probably all negotiated, I would think. Like I'll give you $5,000 if you walk out, if you go away.
Yeah, I mean it could be.
Yeah,
it could be. I just I don't know.
From a consumer's point of view, guys bought a couple houses, and I'm not educated in real estate at all. I just do what I'm told. These are the kinds of things that would get me upset at closing, because these charges just start rattling off. Title insurance. This is a processing fee. What do you mean a processing fee?
Yeah, they got to pay the person that handled the paperwork that carried it from that desk to this desk. Come on, you got to be kidding me.
So it would always sort of rattle my cage when these fees would come along,
And so speaking to this point, actually, about your fees, though, is that there is a difference. This is where APR comes in. So this is what you want to pay attention to. So when we think about real estate and closing and costs, so you have your interest rate, which is what you pay every month, but then they calculate APR. And so they add all of these fees in that shows you what the total cost of the financing is. Right. And so that's supposed to be a way to shop. But if you're concerned about fees like that getting to the closing table, what you should actually do is ask for a good faith estimate of the charges, and they should have that to you, because the mortgage laws changed after this big catastrophe that we had in the industry. And so what that has done is that's actually given you more tools, because they have deadlines to meet to get you really significant estimates, and you should be able to see the breakdown of those fees. And those are negotiable.
Yeah.
You can say, hey, you know what? I'm not going to pay that fee. And what are they going to do? Are they going to stop a several $100,000 or $1 million transaction because you want to quibble over $20 or $50 or $100? They're going to do it. Yeah. So the power is in your hands. You should always remember that when it comes to real estate and closing. You are not at the mercy of the other people. And if that lender wants you to close, he's going to do what it takes. He's going to suck up some of those fees if he has to. They build in so much in the back end, especially, bankers don't have to disclose back end profit, and brokers do. It's kind of like this weird thing that they have. But in either case, they're making plenty of money. I know, I was a lender. They're making plenty of money.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's it for today's Moolah Word of the Day. Let's talk about our guest, though. We have a real estate investor himself. Kashif Zuberi is joining us, and he is currently the Director of Investor Relations with Caliber Companies in Scottsdale. And in addition, he is an investor and partner in Real Estate Properties, LLC, and Zuberi Properties, LLC. He's a strategic planner with a global mindset. Kashif has the proven skills for incorporating all functions of sales and marketing, business development, operations, and management for investors. He is adept at integrating cultural challenges like consumers, distribution, people, logistics, and costs. And with an MBA from Cardiff School of Business Management in the United Kingdom and a Bachelor's of Commerce from Anwar ul Uloom College, he is from Hyderabad, India. That's his home.
Yeah.
Kashif has the distinction of working with renowned companies and organizations such as GE, Pepsi. He's entered the USA with more than 10 years experience as an investor in real estate and development, encompassing project design, planning, and process enhancement, and 7 years of working for corporations in the UK, Dubai, and India. So he's a big collaborator, and I just, and we're both aligned politically. That's how we met, was at one of my girlfriends at Reagan's function. And so he was just very interesting, and I love international people, and I've been to India, so I really enjoyed the connection, so I'm excited that he's joining us on today's show. So Kashif, welcome to Unlock Your Wealth Radio. We are thrilled to have you be a part of today's show.
Thank you so much for having me here. Really appreciate that. Thank you.
So I love your nickname. So tell us how you got your nickname Cash.
Oh, it's ironic because I'm in financial industry. I work in finance and my name is Cash. But it actually started with Johnny Cash. I'm a huge fan of his, and my friends started calling me Cash without realizing that actually my first half of my name sounds Cash. It's Kashif, Kashif.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. I thought, wow, I wish, being in financial services, I wonder why I never came up with that nickname for myself. Yeah, my name is Heather, but you could call me Cash.
Yeah. People love cash, right?
Well, yeah, we all love cash. And so speaking of cash, you have an interesting story. So you are new relatively to the United States as a resident, but as a real estate investor, you also used to invest in India. What's investing in real estate in India like?
It is pretty much the same. It's very much alike and different at the same time. In India, you get good deals if you have really good connections and you know people. You get access to the deals which others don't. Same like before Jobs Act in the United States, it was just for friends and family of big investors. Mm-hmm. You couldn't, ask outsiders or other investors to invest with you. But now you can, thanks to the Jobs Act. But in India, it's still the same. You have access to the best of the real estate if you have connections, if you know where things are. And it's much easier, I would say.
What is it like applying for financing now? Do you have to pay cash for homes in India? In some countries, that's the only way to buy a home is to pay cash for it. But can you finance property in India?
Yes, you can. It's just as competitive as it is here. So we have all private banks who give loans. Government servants have special subsidiaries, rates that they get to buy their home. And but most the drawback with Indian real estate is, I'm sure you must have heard about demonetization happening in India, and that was for the purpose of getting black money into the circulation. Mm-hmm. But unfortunately, even today, if I'm buying a land which is, say, 10 million, mm-hmm. 60% of the transaction is in white, which is actually declared, and the 40% is under the table. That is the black money, which is not registered. So there's a lot of difference in the market value by government assessors and the real estate in reality. So
wow,
you still need to have a lot of cash, and even if you have financing, you need to have cash to purchase real estate there.
So it's not even like a down payment. It's just the black money to cover the value difference between.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, that's interesting. Here in Arizona, our assessor's tax rate, the assessed value is much different than the market value here. I wonder if that's kind of a correlation.
Kind of is. So usually what happens is market value is artificially inflated by influx of buyers. Mm-hmm. And, when there's more demand and there's less inventory, so, people are ready to pay more than what the property value is at. And that is one of the first indicators that you might want to see when the market is going to crash, because that's not going to sustain for too long.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, inventory shortages are a challenge that we're starting to see here in Arizona as well. But so in India, is it kind of the Wild West? You guys have a lot of land, and I would guess that most of it's not developed, even though you have millions and millions of people. Well, you have billions of people, don't you? You have billions.
1.2 billion, yeah.
Right. So is India, as far as real estate investment concerned, is it overdeveloped, underdeveloped? Is it still kind of? Is there opportunities to make money?
Oh, there is, absolutely. There is a huge influx of investors from abroad in India. For example, my city, Hyderabad, there is this place called High Tech City, and it is relatively new. It was developed because of the IT boom, and it is the information technology hub of India right now. And that land, thousands and thousands of acres, I would say millions of acres, basically, was it was dairy farms. So people who didn't have enough money, people who were just dairy farmers, they used to live there and live hand to mouth, not enough money to sustain. And that those millions of acres were bought by companies like GE, Microsoft, Intel, IBM, and overnight those dairy farmers became multimillionaires and billionaires depending on the size of land they had. And there's still so much resources that India has. It is the third largest economy in the world. And it is relatively new because we got independence about 70 years ago. So if you see where we have come from in the last 70 years, before India was British colony, it was supposedly the golden bird. It was adding up to, I think, 23% of the world economy at that point in time. But after Britishers, it was the third world country. And in the last 70 years, it grew from bottom 0 to the top 3. So it's unimaginable growth. And that is purely because we have unlimited talent and immense natural resources because of the size of our country.
Mm-hmm. That's really exciting to hear that that's an investment frontier that people consider as an option if overseas investing is something for them. You are listening to Kashif Zuberi on Unlock Your Wealth Radio. This segment is sponsored in part by KeepMyID.org, the only service that actually prevents identity theft. All others are just monitoring services. Put your credit on lockdown for Unlock Your Wealth Radio listeners in their special offer by visiting our website at unlockyourwealthradio.com/KeepMyID and click on the link to start protecting your financial future right now. So you went from being an investor in India to a real estate investor here, and now you work for a really interesting real estate investment firm. Tell us a little bit about the company you work for.
I work with Caliber companies, and it is a very interesting. We started 10 years ago, almost 10 years ago, with zero capital. Today we have more than $365 million worth of assets under management. And it is started by Chris Loeffler and Jennifer Schrader. They are the co-founders of the company. It's a young company, very young blood, but experts in everything. We have a group of individuals who are experts in their own field. And it is a remarkable growth. We have 253% growth. We are the second fastest growing private equity firm in the country today. And it is, I think, one of the finest companies I have ever worked with. I worked with a lot of companies. I used to head corporate sales for Marco Management Consultants. That's Asia's number one HR firm. They basically handle everything about HR from payrolling to hiring and software and training, everything. And I'm personally responsible for more than 80,000 employments in India that I got the contracts through my work. And I had, I've worked with a lot of companies, big companies, one of the finest in the world. But there's no other company which actually gives more importance to the potential of an individual rather than what they see on the piece of paper. So when I was interviewed for about 3 months.
That's a long
and
process.
each and every person on my team actually interviewed me. And everyone had to have the unanimous decision to take me in. So that is not something that you would see. And we have had conversations before, and I told you that, I'm a seeker. I love to seek knowledge. I love to be in the company of people who are intelligent, who are educated, who are on their way somewhere, And so this was very interesting, the way I met Chris Loeffler. He's the co-founder of our company. And I was actually in a seminar. It was, I think, 6-figure mindset, something like that. And I was not even supposed to be there. And one of my dear friend, she had a table book and she said, no, you have to go. And she insisted me for 3 days. And I was, okay, I will go. Mm-hmm. And I was listening to everyone talk and I was like, why am I here? I'm much more intelligent than these people are. I'm sorry, I don't want to sound pompous, but I'm just saying that, people try and talk things. I'm sure you come across those people a lot.
Yes.
And, I hear 2 yeses there. So,
yeah, Michael. Michael knows for sure. He's been around the block a little longer than I have, but
thank you so much for agreeing, Michael. So, so there were a lot of people who are trying to sound intelligent and they're knowledgeable and they're, everyone is a grinder, everyone is the best, and and I was getting bored, to be honest. My father always said that if you're the smartest man in the room, you better change the room.
Ooh, I like that.
I was thinking of changing the room, and then there was this guy, my age. He stands up on the podium and on the stage, and he starts talking about private equity. And now I can understand how teenagers feel when they see a rock star on stage. He was that rock star for me.
Wow!
And I was like, I have to meet this man, and I have to learn things from him. And he finished his talk, and I'm pretty sure he was just 1 or 2 steps down the stage. And I ran towards him and I said, I'll work with you for free. Just teach me everything that you can.
Wow.
And he smiled, looked at me, asked me for my card. And he said, I'm going to shoot you an email. We'll have a conversation and then we'll talk. And he sent me an email right then and there. Then we had a conversation. We spoke for about hour and a half. That time we were closing Hilton Phoenix in the airport area at that point. So we were busy closing. So we spoke, I think, on 8th of November last year. And then rest is the history. Then I met him. Then he introduced me to other members on the team. And everyone had a unanimous decision. And I told him that I'm new to United States and I really don't have book of business per se in financial industry. You know how finance industry works. Mm-hmm. It's a well-functioning machine. You cannot just, get into finance world from nowhere. And I told him that I have experience. I've run business. I know things, but I don't have a book of business here in the United States. So I'm not sure that I can generate business immediately, but I know for a fact that, once I pick up the momentum, I'll be one of the finest people in your team. So he said, Cash, you need to come with good work ethic, and you should be a seeker of knowledge. You come with these 2 things, and the rest of the things I will teach you. Don't worry about that. And rest is history.
That's awesome. What a great story. So what types of...
Going back... Sorry to interrupt. So going back to the thing that I have recruited so many people in my life for so many companies, there was not one CEO who ever used those words that I can teach you skills, but you need to come with good work ethic and, fire in your belly, that sort of thing. So he earned my respect right then and there.
That's exciting. That must have been exciting for you. So what types of real estate investment does your company look for?
So we predominantly try and buy in a profit. So most of our purchases are at least 20% less than the market value. So we invest in hotels, resorts, single-family homes, multifamily homes, office complexes, commercial buildings, storage facilities. You name it, we own it. But the second thing, what we try and do, because our company came out of the ashes of last recession, that's when we started. So we understood what are the things went wrong because of which people faced losses. So we try and prevent ourselves. We are not greedy for more profit. We make good profit. Our target is to achieve 20% IRR on an average of 5 years spread, and where we can have high leverage and go for more profit, but we try and secure our properties. So if God forbid there's another downturn, we don't lose our properties. We might not. How should I say? We might not give distributions out at that point in time, but if somebody has invested with us, their money is secure because we're not losing the property because we are not high leveraged.
Right. Yeah, that's a smart
there are
way
a lot
to
of
go.
Yes, and most of the companies, if you see, which were bankrupt, or people who were bankrupt because of real estate at that point in time, were the ones who had like 75, 80% leveraged properties, and they could not manage. They were getting loans when they were getting loans for $1 million when they were just qualifying for 200,000, and they could not keep up with the payments every month, so they had to lose their properties. That's what happened in most of the cases. Like you would never hear Warren Buffett bankrupted himself in a recession, right?
Right.
Because he's the greatest investor. He always says investing is nothing but knowing when to buy, when to sell, and when to hold. And unfortunately, we don't see that. We always talk about buyer's market and seller's market, but what we do is we sell in the buyer's market and we buy in the seller's market, so we're not going to make money off that. And that is the emotional behavior that people have, because of which we land into trouble. Unfortunately, we're not ready to accept that there are experts out there who know the business. We should probably depend on them. I'm a doctor. I should concentrate on healing people rather than concentrating on real estate investment.
Yes, let that to the experts. Give your money to those that are successful at it. Well, that's really exciting. So if folks were interested in participating in some of the real estate projects that you guys have, how can folks find you to learn more about what you and your company do?
Well, they can always go to our website. That is www.caliberco, co as in co.com, or they can contact our office. That is 480-295-7600. And they can ask for cash if they want. And they can research on our company, how we have grown, what kind of team we have. And we are very transparent. In private equity, usually what happens is if you invest, at the end of the year, you get a letter. That's it. Okay, that was your investment. This is what you have made. And if and we will contact you next year. That's it. But we have a complete different perspective. We want to have world-class client service. You can reach to our CEO, and there'll be no problem reaching them. It's not like you're making a call to a customer rep and you're holding for like 2 hours, and then you get in touch and the customer service rep says that, sorry, I don't have that information. Some of my team members might contact you in the next 4 days. No, we don't work like that. We work like a close-knit family. We value our relations. We value our clients. And that's one of the most important reasons why we are so successful.
Well, that's exciting. So thank you so much for being a part of Unlock Your Wealth Radio. And for those of you who are driving around without a pencil, never fear. UnlockYourWealthRadio.com is here where you can visit Cash's show page and click on the links and get the phone numbers to his company and so much more. For the maestro of Moolah, Michael Terry, I'm Heather Wagenhals. Now go out and unlock your wealth today.
UnlockYourWealthRadio.com is produced by Heather Wagenhals and the Unlock Your Wealth Foundation. UnlockYourWealthRadio.com and its affiliates are copyrighted 2017 with all rights reserved. For more information on the Keys to Riches Financial Wellness Series, please visit our website at www.unlockyourwealth.com.